Hi, my name is David Shelley and I'm with BVA Technology Services. And I'm doing a video today to talk about a misconception in the marketplace, the technical marketplace, with respect to email archiving and Office 365 and Gmail, and whether or not those cloud providers truly back up your email and data. And the easy answer is yes and no, meaning with Gmail, it backs it up for about 30 days in a recycling bin. So anything that gets deleted, you're able to go back 30 days and facilitate that restore. When it comes to Office 365 though, it only does this for about 14 days. So I think there's a huge misconception in the marketplace and small to medium-sized organizations that they feel that cloud providers are backing up their email data, and that's just not the case. So again, with Google, it's 30 days, and with Office 365 with Microsoft, it's only 14 days, which obviously shocks a lot of people when they find this out, especially in the business space, primarily because they think since it's a cloud provider, they can go back and that these guys and girls are backing up their real email data, and that's just not the case. So this video is going to go over some alternatives and services that are offered in the marketplace that will back it up for whatever term is needed, whether it's some type of compliancy standard or some type of rules within an organization in terms of email data protection. It's extremely common when individuals and organizations decide to move their email to the cloud with Google or Microsoft. They end up moving files as well. It's kind of something that organically happens, and whether you're using OneDrive or Google Docs, it basically makes life a little bit easier because data can be shared through multiple devices. Bringing that up in this video primarily because, again, another misconception is that these cloud organizations are backing up those data points as well, and those, again, it mimics the email correspondence with respect to data protection. So with Google Docs, 30 days, but they do something called versioning. And then when it comes to OneDrive with Microsoft or SharePoint, if you're using that within your organization, same thing, 14 days, which obviously is a concern because people start to put up a lot of intellectual property up there in the cloud, and they're hoping that all of that is protected. But with respect to that, if something gets deleted and it's not noticed immediately, and 14 days pass or 30 days pass, depending on the cloud provider, that data is gone. And it's happened to us on numerous occasions with some of our clients and some external clients that thought that it was backed up and it wasn't, and it's an education. And that's really the purpose of this video, is to educate organizations and individuals of their data and whether it's protected or not and what that timeline looks like. Both of these cloud providers leverage something like a recycling bin. So when things get deleted, they go to a recycling bin, and that's where you actually go to restore data in the event of someone needing data back. That being said, if you need a longer retention period, then again, Google at 30 days, Microsoft at 14, you need to leverage a third-party tool, service that as an MSP, and there's other MSPs other than my own, that can help you with that. And there's a lot of solutions out there that address this particular issue. Some of those are Druva, Cloudberry, Mimecast, Barracuda. These are all organizations that have been in this particular space for quite some time and have built tools and services that will help achieve this, whether you need to keep this data for 90 days, 60 days. And some of these services, it's bottomless, meaning once you turn it on, that data is captured from day one until you decide to turn it off. They call it bottomless archiving. Typically, it's a monthly cost, which basically costs between $4 and $6 a mailbox, depending on the vendor, obviously. And then you can also go with, those are services in the cloud where mail will actually route through a data center and capture that data through a term that we use in our space called journaling. But there is an option to actually purchase an on-premise device, an appliance that has hard drives in it that the mail will actually go through before it goes outbound and capture all that data there that's on premise. That is kind of an archaic solution that really has transitioned more to a cloud service, primarily because it's It's a better overall architecture, it's more reliable, and it just doesn't fail. And as we all know, with an appliance, it's hardware. It's not a question of if it fails, it's just when. So those are some of the solutions out there that will address this problem. And it's easy to configure, it's easy to set up. It's just that reoccurring cost that everyone doesn't want to pay. But in the case of compliancy or just overall protection of your organization, whether it's an HR issue, litigation issue, making sure that you have the ability to go back 6 months or 3 months and facilitate an email of where it all started is just crucial. And in today's climate, it's a must. Now that we've addressed how to back up your email with a cloud provider, I want to go over a very beneficial service that a lot of organizations are moving towards in today's climate, with people trying to impersonate folks, spoof their email, as well as hide links within email that kind of goes to a secondary site so that you can enter in your credentials for your network or some type of banking organization. I'm sure you've all experienced that in some form or fashion, where you've got an email from your credit card, whether for example American Express, and it says there's suspicious activity, and it says please log in and review. There's a link in the email that you actually click, and then these hackers, they build these websites that look just like the American Express site, and then you end up putting your credentials in there, and then all of a sudden, unfortunately, it kind of goes to another website that looks very similar to kind of the account page. But by that point, your hacker has already got your credentials to your credit card, and they can go in there and transfer money and do a bunch of malicious things. So there's some services and tools out there that will address this, and it's very important in today's climate, especially if you have a position that's involved in any type of banking or finance for an organization, for you to have these services in place to protect you. And what they are is impersonalization protection as well as anti-spoofing. And those types of tools are very straightforward to implement, and it's just that reoccurring cost. And depending on the type of platform that you go with, it can range between $2 and $6 per mailbox. And really what it does is it does some very intelligent things with respect to catching impersonalization. So if someone's leveraging a tool to mimic a web, your particular email address, this will catch that. So you're not going to be able to spoof emails and get through these types of solution services. It's going to capture that and notify whoever your administrator is that someone's trying to email you and impersonate someone, which is extremely impactful to an organization. It also protects links within the email. Again, it loads it in what we call kind of a sandbox environment first before it allows you to load it locally on your device through Internet Explorer, whatever type of browser you're using, Safari, Firefox, Chrome. It all will load it up in a data center sandbox environment first. Ensure that it's a valid link, and then once it validates that, it'll actually open it up on your local device. And so it's that extra layer of security that everybody wants in today's climate, and for that cost, it's well worth it. And I think it's just something that is the norm nowadays, unfortunately. Here at BVA, we're asked quite a bit to come out to organizations' location and environment to review their security flaws and vulnerabilities, as well as review their email architecture, review all the configurations of when it was originally set up years ago and moved up to the cloud, or obviously if you still have a local email system as well. But we get a lot of requests for that, and that's what we do. We go out to organizations, review all that, and then provide the organization kind of a recommendations document free of charge of how they're set up, and then in turn recommendations via severity level of what needs to happen to make their environment more secure from a messaging and email platform. And whether that's targeted threat protection, email archiving, anti-spoofing and personalization protection, whatever that may be, we provide that in a very clear and concise document with obviously costs associated so you could budget for it. We do that free of charge, and if you are open or need to have that type of activity facilitated for your organization, I'd be more than willing to set that up and have one of my senior engineers come out there and provide that deliverable for you. My name is David Shelley with BVA Technology Services, and I really appreciate you watching the video, and have a great week. Thanks so much.